chat tonight about the holidays since that's what's coming up here shortly. So I figured we would do a little chit chat about that since it's been a little bit since I've gone live. And I figured we could talk about holidays since there's a big one here, at least in the States, coming up. And just kind of curious what you guys are up to for the holidays, what kind of things you get into. Um, this year I was supposed to be off on Thanksgiving, but that's not going to happen now. Um, but yeah, we just thought we would sit down and chit chat. Um, the better half is making homemade dog food for the dogs. Most of the dogs are hanging out with us, and just wanted to kind of say hello and see how everyone is. At our house, Thanksgiving is kind of a big deal. I know it is for a lot of people, um, but thought we would talk about what you guys like about holidays and don't like about holidays. I grew up in a very traditional holiday focused family. Holidays were a big deal, and holidays were something that was very family focused. Nobody did anything other than hang out with people for the holidays. And if you didn't participate, that was a big thing. Um, so some people some people did, in my family, not get involved with the holidays. Like, people that were out of town sometimes did not come, and that was kind of a no no in our family. You were seen as not um, not participating in what the family was supposed to do. Um, but we typically, as kids, my parents would either take us to one set of grandparents or the other. My dad's mom lived in Kansas City, which was about a 4 hour drive. And when I was little, my other grandparents lived in Chicago. So we would drive up there, alternating between Christmas and Thanksgiving. So that was always nice. Didn't like the drive as little kids, but kids don't particularly enjoy car trips. And typically, if we were going to see good evening, or good morning, whatever it is for you, um, typically, if we were going to see my dad's mom in Kansas City, we would go up very, very, very late at night, good evening or good morning, and we would get there at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. And my dad's mom, we called her Mima. I'm not sure what everybody calls their grandparents, but that particular grandmother, we went by Mima, and she would always have things. She would be up no matter if we got there at 2 o'clock in the morning or 7 o'clock in the morning. She would always have stuff there for us, and we would spend time with her before we went to bed. And her house was always fun because typically my cousins would come up, um, and with their parents, and so I have a cousin that's a year older than me, and then a cousin that's a couple years younger than me, and then another cousin a couple years younger than that. And so we would all hang out, and that was the only time we really got to see each other. So that was a big deal. And then if Thanksgiving was at our house, then typically it was just the grandparents on one side or the other that would come. And my parents tried to keep it fair. So when my mom's parents moved to Arizona, it was a little more difficult just because that's not right around the corner from Missouri, and we would typically have to fly out to go see them. And so that was kind of a challenge as we got older. Though we did spend, the nice thing about them being in Arizona is, where have I been? I have been slacking on lives. That's why I wanted to come on tonight. I honestly miss being on lives. I just haven't done it. But I'm back. So thank you. Good evening, those of you who are coming in. If you'd be so kind, if you enjoy this chat, participate, talk about the holidays, what you're interested in, what it's like for your family. And don't forget to double tap the screen for a like. I would appreciate it. But anyway, so like I said, holidays were a big deal. I'm going to turn off what I have on in the background so that you guys don't see it reflecting off my glasses. There we go. That's a little bit better. But anyway, holidays were always a big thing growing up. And fortunately, I am married to someone who is very much a part of holidays. We don't do anything huge at my house as far as like having people over or anything out, but we typically um, have, since my since part of us work overnight, I do, and then my stepdaughter does. We kind of have our meal in the morning if we're going to do holiday meals. So typically Thanksgiving morning, Christmas morning, or the day before. We typically, that's when we celebrate as a family, and it works out good for us. I typically go over and see my parents at some point for the holidays, though this year they will not be home. They will be off adventuring in New Zealand and Australia, so they will miss Christmas. They will be on the other side of the planet at that point, so we will do Christmas when they return. But typically, I go over and see them. My folks are incredibly busy, so seeing them is sometimes a challenge. My dad volunteers at a food bank, my mom volunteers at an animal wildlife shelter, and they both are very active in the church. So, and it's the church that I go to as well. So, I kind of have to schedule my visits around them and then my work schedule. So, and like I said at the beginning, I was supposed to be off on Thanksgiving, but I am going to go in and work part of a shift on Thanksgiving now. I typically work 3 p.m. to 3 a.m., so I'm going to work 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. on Thanksgiving to help out. So, those of you who are familiar at all with the trucking industry know that it's difficult for truckers to get home for the holidays, and that's something that at the company I work for, we give guys the option. If they want to work, they can. A lot of them choose to work one holiday and not the other, but there's always freight for them to run. For example, there's customers that have guards, or there's customers that have open yards with drop and hook freight. Drop and hook freight is where you just go in, you drop an empty trailer, and then you pick up a loaded trailer and you head out. So those guys are around, and so there's freight for them to run if they choose. But like I said, a lot of the drivers typically run one holiday or the other, and then they spend the other one at home. There's a few hardcore guys that run all the holidays, and they typically we have a couple of guys that um, are not married, and they purchased a boat down in Florida, and so they will go out and spend time fishing in the summer, so they work through the holidays to pay for those trips because they're off for 2 or 3 weeks at a time deep sea fishing. So that's pretty cool. But no, the holidays for us are very important. We typically, um, my wonderful spouse typically makes something special for our dogs because they're a very important part of our life. So they get mashed potatoes without any seasoning. They get sweet potatoes without any seasoning. They'll get the turkey without seasoning because you have to be really careful with seasoning and dogs. But they will be part of our holiday celebration because they are part of our lives, and we're very grateful for them. So our dogs typically love the holidays very much. They're also the reason we don't have a Christmas tree because they are kind of less than careful. Let's put it that way.
That's the cats.
Huh?
That's more the cats.
Well, yeah, that is the typical. We stopped having trees when we had the cats, but I think Huxley would try to climb it personally, or at least use it as a place to pee. Um, Huxley likes to pee on things. If it's around, he's gonna mark it for his own. So, I don't know if Huxley's. I don't know if Huxley's. Have you ever seen a Christmas tree, Huxley? Huxley's laying on the couch staring at me like, "Who are you talking to?" So, but anyway, so we were going to good evening or good morning, wherever it is for you, Corbin. So we were going to talk tonight about what things are special to us for the holidays. I grew up in a family that it was turkey for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. Occasionally we had ham at Christmas, but Thanksgiving was always turkey. I know not everybody that is watching this stream cares about Thanksgiving. If you're not in the U.S., you don't care about Thanksgiving, but other holidays, big holidays like Easter. Easter was always ham. Um, and typically we had special things that my mom always made. If it was at our house, for Christmas. Well, let's see. Well, Thanksgiving's coming up first. You hate turkey, you like ham. Hey, I get that. Not everybody likes turkey. Um, I like I like turkey if it's not dry. So a lot of people mess up turkey. It's very easy to mess up. My better half figured out how to make it without it being dry. So, but yeah, I can understand hating turkey. But yeah, everybody has their own thing. And not everybody likes ham either. So I get it. But typically, Thanksgiving at my mom's house would include turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy, stuffing, some kind of salad, and then a jello salad. My mom is really good at making the layered jello salads where you can see all the different layers, and she would do. Don't laugh, you know you ate it. But like at Christmas, she makes one that's it's red on top, so it's like a strawberry jello with a pineapple ring in it, and then there's like a white layer that is I think it's vanilla flavored, and then she typically puts like walnuts or something else in there. Good evening, Melvina. Nice to see you. God bless you. Thank you for stopping in. I bet you have some fun stuff for holidays. You are a heck of a cook. I've seen some of the things you cook. You make some amazing food. Thank you. I appreciate that. Your favorite Thanksgiving deviled eggs? I like deviled eggs. See, not everybody likes those. My lovely other half does not like deviled eggs. I like deviled eggs. Now, when you make your deviled eggs, do you put anything on top of them? I know some people get creative and like they put like a little caper or they put like I like them just plain. I like them just plain. I don't want maybe a little paprika on top of them. Um, but I don't know. Some people like them, some people don't. Um, we always like so Easter time we always had deviled eggs because we would take my mom would take some of the extra eggs that we didn't dye for Easter, and then we would make deviled eggs with those. We were the family that oh yeah, pepper and green onions. Okay, that sounds really good. That sounds really really good. I don't do spicy food, so I can appreciate that. That sounds good. Cayenne pepper, just a little bit, not too much. But no, that sounds really good, Corbin. So yeah, we were the family that we actually did hide the eggs that we dyed, which was bad. Only 1 year. 1 year we did not find all the eggs, and we smelled it a few, like probably I think like a week or two later, and it was pretty bad. You ever smelled rotten eggs? That's not good. But my parents also would hide the plastic eggs too. And they would put little stuff in them. My dad had this. I don't know where he got them. Like year round, my dad could find the little gold wrapped chocolate coins, and we always had those. Like they were in our stocking at Christmas. We got them in like our Easter baskets. My parents were really big. Rotten eggs do smell. They're horrible. Oh my gosh, they're awful. But yeah, my parents are very big about holidays. We grew up. My brother and I grew up in a very holiday focused, family focused family, and I'm very grateful for that. We we spent a lot of time with family for holidays, and my mom always utilized. When you get off so many days for school. For the holidays, my mom utilized those to the max, and we always had a good time. I remember many a Christmas that we woke up and there was no snow, but like there would be snow for New Year's, and we were the people that shot off fireworks for New Year's. I don't I don't like the fireworks now because my dogs hate them and they get terrified. Especially my Huxley, he is absolutely terrified of fireworks. But we were the family that shot off fireworks on New Year's. We were the family that we didn't go Christmas caroling, but we were there for midnight service on Christmas Eve at church. We were the family that was, there bright and early for Easter service with whatever grandparents were there with us, or if we were at our grandparents' house, we went to their church. Um, I don't remember so much the church, and you're in the kitchen. What are you making, Melvina? You are always cooking. Oh my gosh, you have some of the best shorts when you show everything that you are cooking. You make some amazing food. Let me tell you, your family is blessed. Your family is very blessed. I'm very blessed. I have a very imaginative and good cook for a spouse who really is very creative. That's just awesome. So I admire anyone who can cook. That is not a specialty that I have. But No, I remember the church that my dad's mom went to better than the church I remember my mom's parents. But they, like I said, they moved to Arizona. I do remember the church out in Arizona because it had beautiful, not stained glass, but clear glass windows that faced out into the desert, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Like at Christmas time, when we're from Missouri, so we're used to seeing snow at Christmas time, and there wouldn't be any snow. It would just be this beautiful rock and cacti, and occasionally there would be hummingbirds at the hummingbird feeder, and it was beautiful. It was so different than any, and then you had the mountains there too. So you're having rice and peas and boiled green banana pork brown stew. That sounds good. Green banana. Okay. That sounds really, really good, Melvina. I hope that is an amazing dinner for you. Enjoy. Enjoy. I'm very jealous. um, I remember many a time looking out, we were at my grandparents' house, especially Easter time, the hummingbirds would be out so much there, and it was just beautiful. And then at my grandparents' house, they were one of the few houses in Arizona that had grass. And so they had quail. And Easter time, the baby quail would have just hatched. And they would run along my grandparents. They had a stone, they had a brick, I guess it was a brick with stone on top wall that went around their backyard because you have to have some kind of protection to keep the snakes out of the backyard in Arizona. So they had all around this solid brick fence, or I guess barrier, and then their gate actually had mesh steel at the bottom to keep the snakes out. And the quail learned that their backyard was safe and they could take their babies there. And so we would see all these little baby quail running up and down the fence, and my grandparents would put out water for them and everything, and they were so cute because the baby quails are only like this big, and they're just adorable. They just have a little teeny tiny body and these little skinny tiny little legs, and they just run super super fast because everything in Arizona, all the snakes and everything want to eat them. So but yeah, that was always fun to go out there. But typically holidays, like I said, my mom made a very big deal about them. We would spend a lot of time as kids. We would have different tasks. So, set the table or help make the rolls or help make mashed potatoes. My mom always would pull out all the stops and get out her good silver and her good china, which their china is actually from, I believe it's from Okinawa or Japan. I know, I remember many a times my parents telling us that if you broke it, you would have to swim over there to get replacements because they didn't want us to break it. But I know like their wine glasses and stuff, they got when my dad was stationed in Okinawa when he was in the Navy, and my mom was over there with him. And the Navy had a thing where they would cargo ship anything you wanted back to the States. The catch was you didn't know how long it was going to take to get there, but pretty much all of my parents' furniture, a lot of their decorations in their house came from either Okinawa or Japan or nearby places that my dad would go when he had leave. And that's how they furnished a lot of their house, was because it was pretty inexpensive to get things back there, but it was very expensive to ship. But if you shipped it back with the Navy and you didn't mind waiting, then you could get stuff that way. But like all of my mom's crystals from that. So, as kids, like I said, my mom would assign us different tasks. Like when I got old enough that my mom would trust me to iron the tablecloth and not burn it, that was one of my tasks. My brother and I would help polish the silver, which is not a fun task. If you've ever had to do that, that is, if you're a parent, that's a really great punishment. Yeah, well, it wasn't like I volunteered to help with them. I did not volunteer to help with my parents. I was a kid. You did what you were told. But yeah, my mom was very big about having a beautiful table. She always had like, it was
Oh,
one.
you're well aware.
You're well aware of the beautiful table. Yeah, it's one of the few times my mom ever has candles, though they don't so much do it now because they have cats, and we try to minimize what's on the table because it's more we have to watch. Their older cat is really good about not getting on the table. Their younger cat, um, last year was the first holiday they had her, if I remember right. So I don't think she was too much of a problem because she's pretty scared around people she doesn't know. So It was more just kind of hanging out, and she wasn't too bad. Hi, Mike. Thank you. I hope it is a good Christmas. I hope it's a good Christmas for you too when you get there. So Thanksgiving is you guys had your Thanksgiving in Canada not that long ago. I remember that. But our Thanksgiving is this Thursday, this coming Thursday. So that's why I was kind of talking about holidays and holiday memories and things like that. My dad's mom, Mima, she was really big about having a beautiful table as well. And her dining room was beautiful. She had china cabinets all. Thank you, appreciate that. She had china cabinets all along one wall that had all of her beautiful um, dishes, and she had some beautiful ceramic and china pieces in there that were just decorative. One of the things that I kept from her when she passed, it was one of the things that I really, really wanted, was she has these beautiful ceramic hands that are like this, and I still have them in a display cabinet that Madison bought me. Um, that was something that was really important, and that's probably one of my most famous, like probably my most favorite memory of my Mima was those beautiful hands and how protective she was of things like that, and that she taught us the value of things. She taught us the value of having things that are important and that matter to you. So, um, but yeah, her table was always beautiful. She always had candles. She always had beautiful tablecloths, and then her china was always nice. She had the charger plates out. She'd have the big, and then the dinner plates out. She always made for Thanksgiving. She had a big. She'd always buy a huge turkey, like way bigger than we ever needed. And then she made stuffing. Um, Up until my mom changed her stuffing recipe, and she'll probably be mad at me for saying this, but I always thought that Mima made the best stuffing. Now my mom makes a stuffing that has crab in it, which sounds crazy. If you eat American stuffing, having crab in it sounds crazy, but it actually is really good. But Mima always made the best stuffing. She always had be- rolls. She didn't do a Jello salad. She did regular salad. I think it was more like I want to say more like a Caesar salad. And then she always had some kind of vegetable, and then she always had corn because there was always some kids there, and some kids didn't like the adult vegetables. Usually she would make like green beans or Brussels sprouts. We have Brussels sprouts at my mom's
I don't remember having any corn.
because Madison is in the kitchen being funny. Because my mom and I like Brussels sprouts. My dad hates Brussels sprouts, and so the only time my mom gets to eat them is if I'm over, because I'll eat them as well. My dad is not a big vegetable person. He is more so now than when I was growing up. He was typically your meat and potatoes kind of guy, but um, he he's a pretty adventurous person. My dad's the kind of person that'll eat like jellyfish and all kinds of different sushi. He's not shy to try anything, but vegetables were never really his thing. So my mom and I enjoy Brussels sprouts and things like that my dad doesn't. When I come over for, um, typically she makes them for holidays. Sometimes she makes them just because. So since my dad had his heart surgery, my mom's had to change everything that they make because he couldn't eat certain things for a long, 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 long time. He just got cleared by his cardiologist to have a little bit of beef, but he was typically not eating any red meat um, or any pork after his heart surgery because he had multiple bypasses done about 7 or 8 years ago. And so he was very careful about what he ate. But now he's been cleared to eat beef, so my mom can kind of go back to doing things the way she used to. And then let's see, Mima always had at least pecan pie, usually another pie, and then we would typically have everyone had water glasses, and then the adults would have wine, and then the kids were only allowed to have water at dinner, and then when you were done, you went to your off to play, and the adults sat and talked. Then you could have juice or whatever you wanted. But Mima was very strict about the table looking the same, so everyone had water glasses. And then my mom's typically like about that too. We all have water, and then I'm not a big wine drinker. My parents will have wine on holidays, but that's about it. Neither one of them really drink. So my mom makes typically Thanksgiving. She just makes pecan pie because that's my dad's favorite pie in the whole wide world. Christmas, she'll make some other kind of dessert too. One year she made, oh yeah, she makes pumpkin pie if we have company. Um, yeah, and Madison's laughing, but so my mom does not make pumpkin pie with the canned pumpkin. My mom makes pumpkin pie with real pumpkin. Like she goes and buys those small pumpkins that you see labeled as pie pumpkins in the grocery store, and that's what she makes pumpkin pie with. And I admire her for doing that. I do not like pumpkin pie. I've never liked pumpkin pie. I don't like pumpkin spice lattes. I don't like anything that has to do with pumpkin. Madison likes pumpkin. I do not like pumpkin. I think it smells gross. It looks gross. It's just ugh. But that's just me. Good evening, Bud Files. Thanks for dropping in. I appreciate it. Got all kinds of people on here tonight, so thank you. Thanks for dropping in. But yeah, so my mom always makes pumpkin pie from a whole pumpkin, and it's a very different consistency and taste than the pumpkin pie that people make that's made from the canned pumpkin. Sorry, Madison is busting down some ice over there if you hear any ruckus going on in the kitchen. So yeah, but that's, and then Christmas, like I said, my mom typically makes a different dessert. So we'll have pecan pie because that's my dad's favorite, and then she'll make something else. Like one year she made a chocolate chess pie. She'll sometimes make like a chocolate cake. Easter she makes this. She has a mold to make cakes in, and it looks like a lamb, and then she'll decorate that with white frosting and then coconut to look like it's fur, and then she'll take other coconut and drop it all around the lamb and dye it green so it looks like grass, and then she put little jelly beans in it, and then it has black jelly bean eyes and a black jelly bean nose. And apparently my mom lost the lamb pan because we did not have the lamb cake last Easter, and I was very upset because that's one of my favorite childhood memories. Um, but hopefully she's found it come next Easter. Otherwise, I'll be sad. But yeah, like I said, holidays were super, super, super important growing up. That was just one of the things that my mom was very into was the holidays and spending that time with family. And part of it is because that was one of the few times that all of us were together. My dad typically worked 6 days a week in the office, and then he would bring work home with him, and he would work Sunday nights at home. My brother and I were very busy with stuff going on. My brother was in Boy Scouts, I was in Girl Scouts. Um, we typically had multiple things going on. Our brother was into soccer. He did that year round, so he did outdoor soccer in the summer, in the spring and summer, and then he did indoor soccer in the winter. Summertime, we both did swim team. My brother did dive team. I did dance. My brother did gymnastics. So then my mom was in school part of the time when I was little, and then when she went back to work, so she was working as a school counselor, so she had the same schedule we did pretty much in terms of days off because she was out of school, but she had her own work to do, and she would bring work home and type up her notes and stuff like that because she was a school counselor. So, we were all busy and we didn't necessarily see each other every day. So, we would see each other on Sundays when we went to church. That was one thing we did all as a family. And then holidays were something that everybody was not doing anything. You were home with the family, you were home with whatever family came in town, or if we went to go visit, if it was our turn to go visit family, and that was what we did. And that was what you were focused on, was the family time and not necessarily doing anything else. So that was always nice. So Christmas, my mom sometimes made turkey, sometimes made ham. She would always have rolls. She would always have a Jello salad. Like I said, she did the one that was like red on top, white on the middle, and then green on the bottom. And then she'd have a green salad as well. Um, And then she was always has vegetables, so Brussels sprouts for her and I. And then my dad would have, typically she makes them corn. And then we always have some kind of, if we had turkey, we had stuffing. If we had ham, we'd have another vegetable. We'd have mashed potatoes, gravy. I'm trying to think else what else we had. That's pretty much it. And then rolls, and then dessert was pecan pie, and then something else. My mom's mom, it was always turkey except Easter, um, and she was a good cook. Not as good as my mom, but she was a good cook, and she made very traditional Thanksgiving and Christmas. Everything was, kind of like the Better Homes and Gardens kind of example of Christmas and Thanksgiving. Like what you see in the old magazines. That was kind of how Christmas was with her. Let me move you guys a little bit. There we go. But yeah, no, I have really great memories of that. Now here, like I said, typically nowadays, because my stepdaughter works nights and I work the weird 3 to 3, and then Madison works during the day, typically we either have Thanksgiving or we have our holiday meals either really late at night or really early in the morning. And it just kind of depends on what everybody's schedule is. So, because you guys are eating what? Wednesday morning? Madison?
What?
You guys are eating Wednesday morning?
Huh?
Are you guys eating Wednesday morning for Thanksgiving?
Well, yeah, 'cause we're gonna eat when you came home.
Yeah. So I was originally supposed to be off on Thanksgiving, and now I've got to work. So
Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. So they're eating Thursday morning, and then whenever I get home, so I'm gonna go when I get off work. I work Wednesday 3 to 3, and then I'm gonna go straight to my parents. They live about 30 minutes from where I work, so I'm gonna go straight over there, take a nap, and then have Thanksgiving with them, and then I'm gonna go back to work and work 3 to 10 because I'm supposed to be off, and then I'll come home and I'll have Thanksgiving with Madison. But my stepdaughter will be at work because she works at Walmart, and Walmart is Thursday going into Friday is obviously Black Friday, so she'll be dealing with the craziness, and I don't miss that. I did almost 20 years of retail, and I don't miss. Well, it was actually over 20 years by the time you count in um, Lowe's and everything. But I did almost 20 years of Walmart, and I don't miss one bit of it. I see the trucking side of Black Friday and like holiday prep now. Um, there's a lot of push. The last 2 weeks have been really super busy with our retail customers, trying to get
Oh,
last
you don't
minute.
miss one bit, huh?
Huh?
You don't miss one bit.
I don't miss one bit of it. I miss you.
No, that's not what you said.
What?
You didn't miss one bit. I was at Walmart.
Oh, well, okay. So I miss the fact that, but neither one of us are at Walmart anymore. I met
was.
I met Madison at Walmart. Madison had a part-time job at Walmart, and that's how we met. I was working in the cash office, and Madison was working up front as the cashier, and then later as their lead cashier, their customer service managers. And so when I was in the cash office, Madison would have to come get money from us, and so they would drop things called a change order. So they would drop the blue money bags down this little chute with the change order, and Madison would leave little surprises in with the change order, and that was Madison's way of kind of flirting, because Madison is super shy, which is why you never see Madison on camera. But no, so that's how we met. So yes, I miss that about you, but that's the only part of Walmart that I miss. But no, I don't miss the chaos and the stupidity and the rude customers and the everything else that happens in retail. It's why I say that people should have to
Way
work.
backpedal there, homegirl.
Don't be mad. I'm glad that we're away from that now. We've escaped the Walmart disaster. But no, I don't miss like the rudeness, and then Madison and I have both said that people should work at least 6 months of food service or retail, because you don't realize how mean and evil people can be until you work in those industries. because people are just awful. Though I will say some of the meanness that I see, like what people say on like YouTube, is right up there too. I've witnessed people say horrible things in other people's lives, and that's just not nice. I've never understood the concept of being mean, especially to total strangers who are just trying to, be nice and talk and share their life with you. I've never understood that, but that's how some people are, and that's just them. So, it is what it is. Um, but anyway, so yeah, like holidays now are still a big deal with our family. It's just smaller. Typically, um, Madison bought turkey breasts, boneless turkey breasts this year. Costco had those, so Madison's making those. And what else are you making?
Uh-huh.
What else are you making this year for Thanksgiving?
What's in there?
What are you making for Thanksgiving this year?
Turkey, stuffing,
Turkey,
gravy,
stuffy, gravy, mashed potatoes,
sweet potatoes,
sweet potatoes,
roasted asparagus.
roasted
I
asparagus.
think that's it.
Okay. So that's what we will be having for Thanksgiving. Sometimes we've done things since we don't necessarily celebrate on the holiday. We've done things where like we've gotten meat and cheese trays or appetizer trays from a restaurant just so that Madison doesn't have to cook as much food. So we've done that as well, which is one benefit of not always celebrating on the holiday itself. Last year, my schedule fell so that I worked all of the holidays, and I had just had my surgery. Um, October 30, October 30th of this year was 1 year since I had my hysterectomy. So last year, I had just gone back to work. I took 2 weeks, and I guess it was 10 days off that I stayed out of work, and then I worked from home for 2 weeks, and then I was back in the office, and my schedule had changed. They changed our rotation at work, and we went to a different. That's when I started working 3 to 3. So we changed how we did at the holiday last year because I was working both Christmas and Thanksgiving. So it is one benefit about my job is because it is a trucking industry and we're trucking is a 24/7, 365 job. They do a nice job taking care of with holiday pay and things like that. So I don't tip it. And the holidays are usually fairly quiet. It's not super busy. So we typically, it's kind of a day to catch up on some stuff. I catch up on some of our less exciting tasks. Now there are plenty of drivers that work and there are breakdowns that happen and trying to find service on the holidays gets really interesting. Your biggest hope is that there's not a reefer truck that breaks down because trying to find service for a refrigerated truck on the holidays is pretty difficult. So, and I know there'll typically be some pretty bad weather somewhere in the country, so we'll have to deal with that as well. People will get stuck.
Reefer?
Yeah, reefer.
Reefer.
Reefer trucks. Um, but yeah, so there's plenty of people that work. Like I said earlier, there's plenty of drivers that work. A lot of them choose to work one holiday or the other. That is one thing about the trucking industry. Your family just kind of accepts that you're not going to be home. A lot of those guys as kids, when they're little, they're home for both holidays. And then as their kids get older, a lot of them typically take off more for Christmas than Thanksgiving. But if they're not driving, they're not making money. So a lot of them choose to work, which is kind of sad. I mean, I feel bad for them that they miss stuff and they miss those memories with their family. But it's the same thing if you're a police officer or a first responder. A lot of those guys miss holidays as well, and even retail workers. Now everybody works Thanksgiving. A lot of the businesses are open Thursday night, overnight, or they have their employees in to get ready for Black Friday. So a lot of people don't get to have the holidays that they used to have, which is kind of sad. It's not, it's a very different world, and people. I used to hate when customers be like, "Oh, I'm so sorry you have to work," and it's like, "Well, no, the reason I'm working is because you're shopping." So, it's a different world, and people say, "Oh, it's different now that people shop online," and that's great. That's cool that you shop online and you're not in the stores, but somebody has to package all that stuff. Somebody has to get it to your house. So, just because you're shopping online doesn't mean that Amazon's not working or Walmart.com's not working. People are still working because you're still purchasing things. So, but that's just the world that we live in. We're in a society. It's not just the United States. Sorry, my corgi just bumped the tripod here. What's the matter, Sinbad? Huh? So, he is now laying on my feet, and he is very warm. If you're somebody that gets cold in the winter, get a corgi. They're very hot, and they will lay on you constantly. Um,
Sinbad,
oh, don't call him. He was happy.
come here, Sinbad.
Oh,
Come here.
oh, Sinbad getting Huxley's mad now because Sinbad's getting a treat. What's Sinbad getting? Sinbad's getting. Oh, you should go see. Go see what Madison has. Go see. Huxley's like, what's going on? What's going on? You got something for me? Maybe Madison will bring something for you.
Sinbad.
Yeah.
So, see, that's what I got, Mommy.
Madison makes their food. Oh, you want to say hi to everyone? Come here. No, don't lay on your. Let me show you guys Huxley. See? Say there he is. There's Huxley. Say hi, everyone. You want a treat? Oh boy. Oh boy. Life is good. Yeah. What's in their dog food today? Beef?
Yeah.
Beef and sweet potatoes.
Beef, sweet potato. No, yeah, beef, sweet potato, carrots, butternut squash.
Butternut squash,
I
yeah.
haven't done the eggs or anything yet.
Okay, so yeah, Madison makes their dog food. If you guys are familiar with Farmer's Dog, it's kind of like that except better because it's very fresh. Madison makes their food at least once a week, but typically it's beef.
And
So,
then the turmeric, pepper, salmon oil, all that stuff.
yeah, so that's beef, sometimes chicken. Um, they always get sweet potatoes. They love sweet potatoes. Sometimes there's carrots. Sometimes there's green beans. Yeah, sometimes there's green beans in there. Um, and other vegetables. And then they get salmon oil, turmeric, a little bit of black pepper because black pepper activates the turmeric,
Squash.
butternut squash. And then there's the nutrient pack that Farmer's Dog actually sells, that has all the extra vitamins. It's just like dogs are just like people. They need vitamins that aren't necessarily in the food that they eat. So you put that in there, and then Madison puts eggs in there. And our dogs are so much healthier and so much happier. Their coats are shinier. They have less health problems. One of our dogs has joint problems that have pretty much gone away since Madison has started making their food. And if you have a dog, you may have heard this that Farmer's Dog and those other types of more fresh foods, they do actually poop less. And all except for Huxley. Huxley is a nonstop pooping dog, but um, they technically poop less. They're just genuinely healthier, happier dogs. It is a lot of work. Madison invests about 3-4 hours a week on it, and that doesn't include shopping for all the ingredients for their food. So it's probably about a 5 to 6 hour a week investment that Madison does, but the difference in the dogs is amazing. They're just so much better off. And it's human grade food. I mean, there's not a whole lot of seasoning in it because dogs can't have a lot of seasoning. There's no like extra salt or anything in there. But it's good stuff, and the dogs are so much happier on it. And all of our dogs are rescues, so even our corgi is a rescue. He was very, very, very sick and on the edge of death when we got him. He had kennel cough that went into pneumonia. We almost it was a very long road to get him healthy as a baby. He was 12, if I remember correctly. He was 12 weeks old when we got him, and he was a very sick little boy. So all of our dogs are a rescue in some sort, and we want to have them as long as possible. And so that's why Madison makes the investment. He was 12.
Yeah, 12 weeks. And if you're his breeder, you can.
Yeah, the person, I won't mention any names, but the person who bred him tried to lie to us and tell us that he was not sick, and he was very sick, and he was underfed. He was not in good shape when we got him. He was a very sick little boy, and it took, like I said, it took a very long time to get him back, and he missed a lot of being a puppy because he was so sick. But now he is perfectly fine, and he is a good boy, and he is the sweetest dog you could ever ask for. He constantly wants attention and love, and he is just a super super dog. So all of our dogs are awesome. They all have their own special little personalities, and they have their person that they have their person that they're attached to. Currently, Sinbad is in the kitchen trying to help Madison make his food, because he is the most food oriented dog. He's food motivated like you would not believe. But he is, like I said, he's a really, really awesome dog. So, what else has been going on since I've been on live? So we've been having a car experience. Anybody who owns a car can tell you that they're wonderful, they're great, and you can do all the preventative maintenance in the world, and stuff just goes wrong. It was what, a 3-week adventure with your air conditioning, or a month adventure? It was about a month adventure with Madison's air conditioning, in Madison's car, and it was 3 weeks. I'm sorry, 3 weeks. It was multiple trips to the dealer. First, it was they couldn't figure out what was wrong, and they said that it was the compressor, so they replaced the compressor. And then it worked for a week, and then it quit working, and then they decided it was something electrical, and that was a disaster. So yeah, so that we've been dealing with car stuff. And then we've been talking for a long time about what we were going to do to replace the cars, because both the cars are 6 years old. So we just replaced my car. And Madison, who is incredible at doing searches of stuff, did a bunch of research. I had driven a Nissan for a long time, and so Madison we were looking at either Nissan or Chevy, because that's what Madison drives. So we were debating between those, and Madison found a heck of a deal on a dealer that has some 2024 models left, since pretty much everybody has the 2025s. So we went and found a Nissan Kicks that was a 2024, and we were able to work out. Sorry! Stranger danger. Hey guys, it's fine. It's fine. Sorry, this is what happens at our house when anybody drives by, or if Amazon drops off a package. This is what you get. So, what's the matter? There's nobody there.
Maybe Amazon.
Maybe Amazon, yeah. Sorry guys. We don't need a doorbell or an alarm security system. We have a corgi who hears everything. Sinbad, it's okay. It's okay. Stand down, bro. It's okay. Huxley, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. But anyway, so we found a 2024 Kicks, so that's what I am now driving.
Yeah, it's the package that was supposed to be here at 10 o'clock last night.
Oh, okay. So, yep, it's Amazon. That's what they heard. But they're very mad at Amazon, because, well, strangers. So yeah, we traded my car in, we got that, and I'm very happy with it. It's way more. Sinbad, it's okay, bro. Sorry, guys. But it's a car that has way more stuff on it than I could ever possibly use. But it did have heated seats and a heated steering wheel, which is kind of what we wanted out of everything that you don't necessarily need, but you would like to have in a car. So got that, and
yet it's not out there.
And yet it's not out there. Nice. Yeah. So Madison's gonna check. Apparently Amazon is here, but we can't figure out where the package is. So we will check the cameras, because we do have camera system at the house. But anyway, so we got the car, not last Thursday, but the Thursday before. Yeah, so we got that. So that was exciting. Um, but yeah, cars are very expensive now. Like I get that everything's expensive, but that was a kind of sticker shock compared to what my car payment was before and what it will be now. But that's life. We were smart about it when we stopped. When each of us stopped having a car payment, we were still setting money aside. Like we had, not all of it, but we were setting aside some of the money, like when we were paying a car payment, so that we would have money for the taxes or for money down. So, just a thought: if you're in the market, cash does pay a lot. But like I said, we were able to negotiate just because this particular dealer had some of last year's models that they were trying to get rid of because everybody's bringing in the 2025s. Hey, come on now. It's okay. It's okay. No stranger danger. No stranger danger. Um, but that's been going on. Um, Madison has gotten we're into the old games. I'm not a big gamer, but I like the old school games, the old Nintendo games and things like that. So Madison is working on there's those systems out there, you guys may have seen them, that have all the old games on one unit. So they'll have like all the old Nintendo games, all the old PlayStation, Atari, all those. So Madison's working on setting one of those up so we can game together on the old school games that I can handle because I cannot play the new games. I cannot figure out the new controllers and I can't do them. That's just not a specialty that I have. So we're going to be doing that together. So that'll be fun. I personally like the old Nintendo games and like some of the Wii games, like Mario Kart, and then I like the original Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3. I actually like Madison's not a big fan of 2 and 3, but I like 2 and 3 a lot. I'm not good at it, but I like to play them. So we'll be playing those. So we got that going on. Like I said, my parents are getting ready to go on a big trip. So that'll be exciting. They're going to be gone for almost maybe over 3 weeks. Because they're going to New Zealand, Australia, and then they have friends that moved from Missouri to Hawaii. So they'll be going to visit them on the way back. It's kind of crazy, like, because of where we live, how long it takes to get places. I think my mom said on the way there, they're flying from St. Louis to Dallas, and then Dallas to somewhere in California, and then California to Auckland, New Zealand, which I think my dad said is like a 17 or a 19-hour flight, which just sounds horrible. I don't know how people do international travel. I do not like flying. I mean, it's not. I'm not afraid of it. It doesn't. It's just I get bored. And you would think like, oh, you got time to read, or you got time to listen to music, or you got time to do whatever. But I'm one of those people that um, I don't want to sit there and just do one thing. Like Madison, when we're home together, we're talking. We're both on our computers. We may have the TV on in the background. We got the dogs doing their thing. So it's typically always something going on. And I don't like sitting on a plane. It's too quiet for me. Um, when I went to Alaska with my parents, that was more than enough. And that was flying. And this is going to sound so stupid, but this is how they route you. The last time I went, we went from St. Louis to Dallas Fort Worth, and then we were supposed to go straight from Dallas Fort Worth to Anchorage, and something happened the last time we went, so they routed us to Seattle.
Their house.
Huh?
Go rob their house.
Yeah, I did not say when they're gonna be gone, so you can't go rob their house. um, but so the last time we went to Alaska, we wound up going from Dallas, Fort Worth, and like I said, we were supposed to go to Anchorage, but then we wound up going to Seattle, and then we wound up sitting in Seattle forever. And then they switched airlines on us. They put us on Alaska Airlines, and then we went from Seattle to Anchorage. And that wasn't too bad, but typically Dallas to Anchorage is, I think, 8 or 9 hours, which is way too long for me. I don't like that at all. When I used to go out to see my grandparents in Arizona, that was a couple hours flight, and typically you could do it all in one go. You could do St. Louis to Phoenix. My grandparents used to live in Green Valley, which is you would either fly into Phoenix and they would have to drive all the way out to Phoenix, or you would do a jump from Phoenix to Tucson, which was about 30 minutes from their house. Typically, back then when they were alive, and this has been 20 plus, probably 25 plus 30 years maybe ago, you would stay on the same plane and take the same plane from Phoenix to Tucson. And that was 3 or 4 hours, and that was way too much for me. I don't know how my parents are going to be on a flight for 17 plus hours. I would lose my mind. Now they upgraded themselves to business plus, so they have the room to stretch out and the seats lay almost totally back so you can sleep. And my dad will read most of the time. He'll have his Kindle. My mom will probably read. They'll probably annoy each other for a while. And then my dad talks to everyone. So he'll probably be best friends with everyone on the plane by the time they land. But yeah, that's just way too much flying for me. And then on their way back, like I said, they're going to go visit their friends in Hawaii. So they're going to fly from, I think they fly out of Australia instead of New Zealand. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure they fly out of Australia and then they're going Australia or New Zealand, whichever one it is, to Hawaii. And then the nice thing about that is they'll go through customs in Hawaii, which is typically going to be less traffic than like flying all the way back to like California. And then they'll fly from Hawaii, I think, to California, and then California to Dallas, and then Dallas back to St. Louis, which is just ridiculous. But because St. Louis isn't a hub for anybody anymore that I'm aware of, everything has to go through another airport, typically Dallas. So, in Dallas, Fort Worth, I'm sorry for the people that live there, but your airport is awful. That is a horrible, horrible airport, especially if you have a connecting flight. It is disorganized, busy, chaotic, and yeah, I know I don't like it. That's just me. So, not that I travel. Hey guys, come on. Sorry, dog alarm. Is the Amazon guy back? What's wrong? Huh? What's wrong? It's okay. It's okay. Sorry, they hear everybody and they want to come barking. Come here, Huxley. Come here. It's okay. Yeah, so you have the Corgi and the Chiweenie door alarm. So, sorry guys. Yeah, so not that I travel a whole lot, but my parents do. And traveling is just, it's crazy to me. That's one thing I do not miss about growing up was when we used to have to travel to see our grandparents. Driving to see my dad's mom in Kansas City wasn't bad because that's like 4 hours in the car, which wasn't horrible. But when we had in Chicago, when my grandparents lived, my mom's parents, when they still lived in Chicago, that was like a 5-6 hour drive, and that wasn't horrible. But flying to see them when they moved to Arizona was not fun. Holiday travel, at least in the United States, is just chaotic. And it continues to get worse. Like you hear the horror stories on the news about how people lose their luggage, how people get delayed, their flights get canceled, they get stranded, they get stuck. It's just not for me. Madison has to fly sometimes for work, and like I said, the flights out of Lambert, which is the closest airport to us in St. Louis. Lambert's not that big of an airport, and so you typically have to go somewhere else, change planes, and then get to wherever you're going. And do you get direct flight to your bus from here? No.
I always have at least one flight change.
Yeah, so at least one flight change just to go to the East Coast. I mean, not that the East Coast is right around the corner for us, but I mean, it's just silly. Like St. Louis used to be a big hub, and now it's not. And so you just typically can't get good flights out of here. So holiday travel, I feel sorry for people that have to go through that. We will not be doing that. So that is one good thing with family being here. We don't have to do that, so I am grateful for that. Even driving though, driving to go see family is chaotic here. And people get crazy on the holidays. Like, I guess it's just stress, trying to get there, especially if you're bringing food or you've got kids with you, and people just get like super stressed around the holidays. And I feel really bad for people. I feel bad for our drivers since I'm now in the trucking industry because, the truck drivers will tell you that they call us four-wheelers, those of us who drive non semi trucks, the four-wheelers, get crazy and they just drive chaotic around the holidays. And then you got, unfortunately, the people that drink and drive at New Year's and Christmas, and that's just not good at all. So, if you're gonna drive, be safe about it, be smart about it. Don't be ridiculous because it's not just you on the road. There's so many other people on the road. So that's my PSA for the day. Think about others before you get in the car. Um, yeah. So other things about the holidays. My mom's very big about putting up a Christmas tree, and her Christmas tree has to be perfect, and it's a big deal to her. They are not putting up a Christmas tree this year, since they won't be home. This I think is the first. This is the first time in a long time that my mom has not put up a Christmas tree. We did not put up a Christmas tree the year my brother died, but typically my mom's always put up a Christmas tree. And when we were little, it was a chaotic mess of ornaments. Like my mom had certain things that she had to have in the tree. Like she had ornaments from like her family, and then why? Because my mom's not putting up a Christmas tree. Yeah, no, she's not putting up a Christmas
It's
tree.
loud. I have the earbud in, so I'm hearing you on like a minute delay.
Oh, okay. Madison's hearing me while Madison's in the kitchen cooking. So, it's a little, that's how we're having multiple conversations here. But no, my mom's not putting up a Christmas tree. But typically, we would have all the ornaments, like when you're a little kid and you make ornaments at school, like the little handprint ones, and then you have like, as you got older, you would make little ones, pipe cleaner ones. So my mom had all of our childhood ornaments, and then she used to make those dough ornaments. This is really old school, and I'm gonna show you guys how old I am. But you used to make like this, like almost like homemade Play-Doh kind of nonsense, and it was like a salt-based dough, and it would harden. I don't even know if you baked it. I don't remember if she baked it or not, but you would make little like gingerbread people, and you would make snowmen. You could paint it, or you could dye it with like food coloring.
Yeah.
What?
Dough ornaments.
Yeah, dough ornaments. Yeah, my mom used to make those with us. So she had all of our kid ornaments on the tree, and then now that my brother passed away and I'm older, now her Christmas tree's theme is the 12 Days of Christmas, and she's made all of the individual days. So like the golden rings and the swans and the French hens, and I don't remember how the rest of the song goes. Um, but she's made all of those ornaments. She hand sewed them with beads. And then the rest of the tree is like red and gold, and I think there's some silver balls, the little glass balls. So that's what her tree is now, and it has to be perfect. So that's what the Christmas tree that's what the Christmas tree is to her now. Their cats are actually pretty good about it. I remember last year their newest cat knocked some of the balls that were on the bottom of the tree, but she always puts stuff down at the bottom that, if it gets knocked off, it's not going to break. Because like the ones that she hand sews, they go around a glass ornament, and so she keeps those higher up where the cats won't get into them. They've had cats, gosh, since I was still at home, which has been forever ago.
Anti-dog.
Yeah, they're anti. We had dogs growing up. We had Weaver, and then we had Midnight. Um,
Anti-dog.
yeah, they're anti-dog. um, we're trying to convince them to get a dog. We want them. Their stray rescue is big here in St. Louis, and they are an amazing shelter. The lady that goes out and actually, her name is Donna, that she goes out and rescues these dogs from like, she'll go in these like scary, falling down decrepit houses and crawl around in there until she finds these dogs and rescues them and pulls them out of horrible situations. And she's hardcore. Like nothing stops her. She'll go out when it's 100 degrees. She'll go out when it's freezing cold and go out and get these dogs out of horrible, horrible situations and bring them back to the shelter and take good care of them. And they never refuse the animal, no matter how bad a shape they're in, no matter what the medical reasons are. I mean, they're just an amazing shelter. And so Madison and I are trying to convince my parents to rescue a dog from there because they're always over full. And the thing is, like, if you get one, they have a group of dogs that they call their One Love Club. So those are the dogs that don't like to be around other dogs, and some dogs are just like that. Um, but if you get a dog that's part of that, like they pay for the food, they pay for everything for life. And
Visits, everything.
yeah, vet visits, everything. And then if you foster, they take care of all the vet bills, all of the food, all of the everything. So they really make it easy for you to foster. So we keep trying to convince my parents to do that. Um, so yeah, if you have a shelter in your area, don't buy pets. Go adopt pets. Go save them. Go save a life. And you know, we always joke like our pets live the good life now versus what they had before they came to our house. And Huxley, who's our newest baby, the one that's attached, I don't know where he went. Huxley, he's around here somewhere. Where's your brother? Huh? Where's your brother? Um, but he lives, huh?
He's here.
Oh, he lives the good life now. He is very well adjusted to being a home dog. Come here, Hux. Huxley, come here. He doesn't want to go on camera, I don't think.
Hold on, Hawk. I know.
Um, but yeah, he lives the good life now, and he's very comfortable. He sleeps in the bed. He gets tucked in. He gets plenty of treats. He gets all kinds of. Oh, now you did it. Uh oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh oh. Well, Sinbad found his. We got treats. These are chicken treats from Costco. Come here, Hux. Hux, you want a treat? Here, Tootsie. Come here. You want your treat? Come here. Come here. I won't make you get on camera if you don't want to get on camera. Here. There you go. He's going to take his treat and run away. But no, Huxley has gotten very good, used to the good life. And, he will rack out on the couch on his back, with his belly up in the air and just hang out and want to be loved and petted and taken care of. So it's a good thing to adopt your pets. They truly appreciate you saving their lives. So yeah. So let's see what else about holidays. Like I said, we always went to church for the holidays. That was always a big part of our holiday, was going and visiting church for those services. I remember many a late night service for Christmas. The church that I went to growing up had a midnight service, so we would do midnight service. Typically, it had candles, which, when you're a little kid, like you're fascinated with standing there holding the candle. And it had a little drip thing, and yeah, I'm sure the church was full of wax, because all the kids, ooh, let's see if we can dip the candle over, and how we didn't catch the church on fire, I don't know, because children are very irresponsible with candles. Um, so we typically had that. I remember many early Easter morning service that we would go, and typically, if we didn't get up early or we didn't have enough time, my parents would make us wait until after church to do our egg hunt and our Easter baskets. My mom was always really super creative at the holidays, with stuff like that. She was very into making it fun for us, and she enjoyed doing the holiday stuff with us. So that was always fun growing up. Um, I don't know that I necessarily appreciated it as much as I should have. I do now, but and stuff like Halloween, my mom made our Halloween costumes for a long time. She would ask us what we want to be, and she would figure out how to make it. And then when we were really little, my mom would make us like matching Halloween costumes, my brother and I. So like one year I was a frog and my brother was a tadpole. The year I got braces, I went as a tooth with braces, and my mom helped me with that. That was a fun costume. I think we did it out of poster board, and we cut like a big tooth out, and we took glitter paint and made like the braces going across it. But I remember many a good Halloween, um, that my mom would make our Halloween costumes, and typically, it was my mom that took us around when we were really little. I think both of our parents took us around, and they brought the bread wagon out because, you know, little kids, they get tired of walking and they get kind of cranky after a while. And then my dad would usually stay home and hand out candy as we got older. And I remember many a very cold Halloween. I remember it snowing one year. I remember it being really cold and my mom being disappointed that we had to wear our coats after she'd worked so hard on our costumes. We didn't do like the neighborhood that I grew up in. There were some people that did like the big fancy haunted houses in their basement and stuff. Like we have, I think it's just one house now, right, in the neighborhood, our neighborhood that does a haunted house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one house in like the very back of our subdivision that does a haunted house. But I remember the neighborhood that I grew up, that I spent most of my young childhood in. There was a couple people that did haunted houses in their basements, and they had big cemeteries set up in their front yards, and then there, you know, there was always one or two houses that gave away the full size candy bar, and everybody knew who that was. The subdivision that we live in now is huge, and there's a lot of kids, but now a lot of the kids are getting older. They're on our subdivision Facebook page, people were commenting about how few kids came to their houses this year. And like where my parents live, they live off a main road, and it used to be when I was growing up, because we moved to where my parents are now, we moved to that house when I was in 6th grade. And typically a lot of kids would come trick or treat because there was our subdivision that was, I think there's maybe 50 houses in my parents' subdivision, but then across the street is a bunch of apartments and condos, and they had a bunch of younger kids. But now all those kids are grown up because they were all kids when I was a kid, and so now those people have families of their own. They moved away, and so my mom said I think this year they only had like one or two trick or treaters. So they only buy like one bag of candy, and it lasts all night. A lot of times my stepdaughter would sit outside and give out candy when we first moved here, but typically she's working, and we don't want anybody ringing the doorbell here because of the dogs who are chaotic. So we typically are not big participators in Halloween anymore. And like I said, there's plenty of houses here that do plenty for the kids. Um, what?
I said, yeah, justify yourself there, honey.
Well, I work on things. I've worked on Halloween. So, Halloween doesn't really matter a whole lot on the trucking industry, though. Uh, yeah, PTO. Um, so, but no, I used to like Halloween a lot, but now it's just chaotic trying to drive around all the little kids and stuff. I'm always worried that some kid's gonna run out in front of my car or whatever, so I don't. Halloween's not that big of a deal to me anymore. But other holidays like Easter was always a big holiday growing up. You know, when you're in school, like every holiday is a big deal. They do something for like, you know, President's Day. You have to celebrate President's Day and talk about this, that, and the other thing, and Martin Luther King Jr. Day and all those different things. So like every single holiday gets, which is good. You need to learn about all the holidays, Columbus Day, things like that. But like as you get older, the holidays like you worry about the big ones and don't worry about the little ones so much. And it's interesting what companies give you what days off. Like, um, you know, what's important to different companies, like Labor Day, Memorial Day, um, Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving. Those are,
After.
yeah, oh yeah, Black Friday. Those are all typical days like that offices give off. Um, and with trucking being 24/7, 365, somebody's always got to work. So we just kind of figure out, um, on my crew, the after hours crew, you know, it's just whoever's rotation falls that way. And then they always have people volunteer to work for overtime. So, um, or get voluntold to work. Um, so yeah, but people, I mean, I get that people want to spend time with their family, but people have to work too. So if you retail, you're working. So, that's, you were planning your holiday around when you're working or not. So, um, yeah. So, all right, so, Madison, what's your favorite holiday food ever?
I'd love to say turkey, but I'll be honest. Your mom's roasted Brussels sprouts were really, really good.
Okay, so Madison said roasted Brussels sprouts that my mom made a few years ago for, I think it was for Thanksgiving.
It
Oh,
was.
yeah, for Thanksgiving because it was the year of the pumpkin pie.
Oh, yes. Trust me, I remember.
If you weren't here earlier, my mom makes pumpkin pie with a real pumpkin. She doesn't make it like
And she
most
doesn't
people.
announce that.
Yeah, she doesn't tell you. It's a surprise when you get it. A lot of people traditionally make pumpkin pie with the pumpkin pie filling in the can. Nope, my mom buys a pie pumpkin, cooks that up, and then makes the pumpkin pie out of that. And if you're not prepared for it, it is a totally different
One that I
experience.
would like not to repeat.
Yeah, Madison was not a big fan. My mom's a really good cook, but sometimes she's
Everything else was great.
little too creative. Um, oh, that was the year. Was that the chocolate chess pie too?
Yes, I
Okay,
passed that up. 'Cause
yeah,
I
that was the
love that.
chocolate chess pie, which is really good. So my favorite holiday food, I think, would probably be, um, I would say nowadays it's the stuffing that my mom makes. And mom, if you're watching, I'm sorry, but your stuffing until you changed the recipe when dad got sick, your stuffing was not good. And you can be mad at me about that later. But no, I think now my mom, she makes stuffing with, she doesn't put it in the turkey, she cooks it separate. And I know there's some purists out there that say that stuffing can only be cooked in the turkey.
Mom's up and end up with
Um,
food poisoning.
what?
I said, yeah, the purists who are going to end up with food
Yeah, the
poisoning.
purists that are going to end up with food poisoning, which is what Madison said. Um, no, my mom makes stuffing now. She puts it in a big, huge casserole dish, like one of those 12 by, what is it, 12 by 13?
Oh, 9 by
9
13.
by 13, sorry, 9 by 13 pan. She makes it in that. And then hers has, and this is going to sound crazy, but it's actually really good. Whole wheat bread, crab meat, celery, vegetable stock.
Crab with a K.
Yeah, it's crab with a K, not crab with a C. Um, and then I can't remember what else she's put up. But those are the big things I know that are in it. It's actually really good. I know it sounds kind of gross, but it is really good. That's probably my favorite thing. That and the mashed potatoes, which actually my dad makes those. Um, though nobody makes mashed potatoes like Madison makes mashed potatoes, and that's because Madison rices them. Um, you Google this if you've never heard of it, but basically you get a ricer and it makes little itty bitty teeny tiny pieces of the potato that you run it through there once they're cooked. And it is the creamiest mashed potatoes that you've ever had in your entire life. There's nothing else like it. So those are probably my two favorite things. I'm not super big on the desserts. I'm not super big on the um the other stuff's okay. My mom's Jello salad. It is a joke. It is what it is. She thinks it's cute, and that makes her happy, and so that's fine. Um, and if my mom ever watches this, I'll probably never hear the end of it. But no, I typically, um, whatever somebody like my dad's mom, I really liked. She made really good gravy. She made really good rolls. Her turkey, she never made a dry turkey. She always had a good turkey, but it wasn't like anything.
Hot and wet.
It wasn't anything spectacular. Um, but just the fact that my like Mima could pull off where everything was on the table and hot and ready to go all at once. She was really good about her time management. And so that, which was amazing because her kitchen was super small. And I don't know how she did it, but she did. She pulled off an incredible meal every year. Um, I think my mom's lamb cake at Easter is one of my favorite holiday foods. Um, and then I don't know. I think that's pretty much it. I think I like the fact that that was one, like I said, growing up, that was one of the few times that we were always together, and so we could always hang out as a family and be um not have to worry about other things that were going on. And I know families nowadays are typically really busy too. So um let's see, favorite Christmas presents growing up. I think the year my brother and I got a Nintendo was awesome. The year we got our first computer, which don't laugh, it was a Commodore 64. Um, the year I got my My Little Pony castle, that was and I'm still mad to this day. And mom, if you watch this, I'm still mad that you no longer have it. Because I loved my My Little Ponies. I did not like my Barbies. I cut their hair off, and I loved my My Little Ponies. My My Little Ponies got a bath every week. They got their hair styled. They were well treated ponies. Let me tell you. Um, but no, those were some favorite Christmas gifts. Um, I think the year we got um trying to think what else was a favorite. Oh, I know one of my favorite New Year's. It had iced. It was a we'd had snow. We'd had several inches of snow, and then it iced. And there was a good thick layer of ice that year, and we were that family that always shot off fireworks on New Year's. And my dad he always would save fireworks from Fourth of July for New Year's, and we had these ones that looked like a disc, and then when you lit them and they went off, they would spin around and they would change color. So we threw those off the back deck onto the ice, and that looks really cool. Um, so that was one of my favorite memories. I don't um I don't have a whole lot of like, oh my gosh, that was like the best gift ever. I think just like my parents always try to do, they would always, and to this day, what do you want? You know, um, but typically my parents like to surprise people with stuff. Like they try to pick things that they think you would like. I know what you're getting for Christmas from my parents. I can't tell you that would be rude. um, so we don't do a whole lot of Christmas.
You know what mine? You didn't ask what mine was.
What? Well, yeah. What was your favorite Christmas gift?
Besides stuff you'd gotten me, it was that silly scarf your mom made.
Oh yeah, my mom crocheted Madison a scarf.
It's
Uh,
beautiful.
1 year, and it was really really pretty. My mom did a really good job. I cannot crochet. Someone did teach me at one point in time in my life, but I have lost that skill. Madison can crochet. Madison's one of those people that if something is going to be learned or something is going to be done, Madison will sit down and figure it out. Madison's just that kind of very determined person. I do not. I will admit that I'm a quitter sometimes, and don't laugh. I said sometimes. But I don't have that self determination that Madison has to learn something. It's okay, guys. It's okay. It was just a chair. It's okay. Um, yeah. So Madison can crochet. I cannot. Um, I think we don't. Like I said, we don't typically do too much for each other. It was always typically about Paige. But I've gotten some very very nice things from Madison. I've gotten makeup that I wanted, clothes, slippers that are nice because our house tends,
Bracelet.
yeah, a tennis bracelet. Um, I've gotten lots of jewelry and really nice things. But typically, like, we're the kind of couple that if we want something or we want something for each other, then we'll typically just do it right then and there. Um, holiday, it doesn't necessarily have to be a birthday or a holiday or our anniversary. Um, so we did just celebrate 19 years. Yeah, 19 years together. So and we haven't killed each other. So hey, there's that. Um, so we've been together 19 years now. Um, so yeah, we've been through a lot of stuff. What was your favorite childhood Christmas gift?
I guess the thing I kept longest used most was that little handheld Mattel baseball game. It was brown.
A handheld Mattel baseball game
Yeah, I kept that for like 10 years and played it all
with the
the time.
terrible graphics. Because how old were you when
Well,
you
it was
got
just little red dots.
little red dot? Yeah, you kids who play games now and that are growing up now, like you have your Call of Duty and all that. Yeah, games did not look like that back in the day. Um,
Little red dots.
yeah, little red dots. We've been watching YouTube videos of like the old Atari games because Madison had an Atari growing up, and we've laughed at like how bad the graphics were. But like back in the day, that was like the shit. Like that was like people were like, "Oh, this is so cool." Like the original Mario. So a lot of that's something that most pretty much everybody knows what that is. Like when that came out, that was awesome. That was mind blowing. That stupid Duck Hunt game that was on
Don't
the.
pick on Duck Hunt.
I liked Duck Hunt. I was good at Duck Hunt. That silly gun. That gun was horrible.
Zapper.
The zapper gun. Yeah. Madison was really good at Donkey Kong.
No.
No, I thought you were good at Donkey Kong.
No.
Oh.
I wasn't good at Donkey Kong. I was good at other things than
Okay.
Donkey Kong.
Well, you're good at
At least not in the arcade.
what was the one? Where is it? The Atlantis game?
Yeah, Atlanta.
Atlantis. Yeah, that had horrible graphics. Oh my gosh, you've never seen
And
that?
that was good graphics.
Yeah, that was good
compared to other
graphics
games.
back in the day. Like Zelda. Think about that. If you know what Zelda was back in the day, Zelda was horrible, and we were all like,
No.
yeah, the graphics were bad.
It's comparison.
Well, yeah,
Nintendo
I mean-
over Atari and television and ColecoVision, Nintendo was the bomb.
Nintendo was the bomb, yeah. What other games did you play? You played Asteroids,
All of them, Asteroid, Space Invaders, Pac-Man.
Space
The
Inva-
Activision games were the best on the
The
Atari.
Activision,
They looked
okay.
the best.
yeah. Well, I remember going to the arcade even when I was like 15, 16. Was Crestwood Mall. If you're from Missouri or St. Louis area, you might remember that from back in the day. Crestwood Mall had a huge arcade down in it had some stupid name. It started with an L. I don't know. But that's where I used to play. That's where I learned to play Mortal Kombat. And that was my game back in the day. I cannot play it on a game system now because my solution is to push all the buttons at once and hope for the best. But back in the day in the arcade, Mortal Kombat was my jam. I loved that game. Well, I'm not like you're smart. You can memorize patterns and stuff.
But I can't do the fighting games.
No fighting games. Simba, come get on the couch. Simba, people want to see you because you're pretty. Come here. Come here. Sinbad is afraid. Our corgi is afraid of the camera. He thinks it's going to eat him or something. We've yet to figure out what his like terrible.
Sure, good boy.
Yeah, he is a good boy. Yeah. And Huxley's over there pouting. So sorry, guys. You guys don't. You get to hear the dogs, but you don't get to see them.
Oh.
Nemo's still sleeping, so we won't see him. But okay. Well, so what was your favorite birthday gift?
I guess my parents got me my first car. It was a
Your
used
first-
car, but it was my first car. and
Which
that
one was that?
That was a Ford Topaz.
A Ford Topaz. What color was it? A Ford Topaz.
It was dark blue.
Dark blue. My first car was a Ford Taurus. But that Ford was Ford. Everybody had Ford back in the day.
Yeah, they did.
Come here, look,
They got it for me.
look,
They surprised
Look.
me. It was.
guys. This is Sinbad. This is our corgi. Say hi. Good boy. You weren't afraid.
They left it in the parking lot the night of my first football game my senior year. I just turned 17.
Oh wow. Okay.
When they met me after the game, go, here's the keys. And so, I'd never driven an automatic, and I put it in gear, and it started driving itself. It takes
Oh yeah,
off.
with the automatics they do start rolling. That is freaky when you've only driven a stick
I'd
shift.
only driven, they both had sticks. That's
Yeah.
all I'd driven.
The first time if you've only driven a stick or you've driven a stick for a long time and you go back to an automatic, the fact that they kind of start rolling, it is unnerving. So
It freaked me out in the parking lot.
yeah,
And that was before cell phones or anything, so it wasn't like anybody.
yeah, you couldn't call anybody.
So you're driving home all scared, thinking the car.
Thinking the car's gonna freak out. Yeah. Well, my first car was an automatic, and when it got wrecked, I got a stick, and my dad had to teach me how to. My dad's the one that taught me how to. Who taught you how to drive? Your mom or your dad?
A little of both, more my dad, but he wasn't very patient.
Yeah.
My uncle did a little bit too. He let me. He had
The
a
uncle that I know.
What?
The uncle that.
Oh no.
The okay.
Yeah, but he had a Mustang GT, and he took me out to my grandparents.
You learned in a Mustang?
Yeah,
I'm
those
jealous.
GTs from like '87. He took me out. My grandma. That's all country roads.
Oh well, yeah, that makes sense.
So he
Okay.
let me drive all over the place.
Okay. Yeah, I learned. My dad taught me how to drive. And mom, if you're watching, sorry, but dad and I both think that you're a bad driver.
My mom had the Z28 when I learned how to drive.
Your mom had the Camaro then?
Yeah, that's what I learned to drive in that too.
Yeah, and I learned how to drive in a Taurus. Madison learned how to drive a Camaro,
My
and
dad
I
had
learned
that-
how to
my
drive in
dad
a
had
Taurus.
Manual Escort, which you like had to get out and push to get it in traffic. You know, it had no get up and go.
What did Donut Boy drive?
Oh my god, it was. I don't remember the name. It was some little. It wasn't like a Wayne Garth car, but it kind of was.
Looked kind of like a Wayne and Garth car.
He abused it so bad.
Okay, well, so Madison grew up in St. Charles County. If you guys are okay, we'll make this relatable for pretty much everyone, at least in the States. Madison grew up in a area that typically was middle class, and it was a very new area, and there wasn't a whole lot of people out in St. Charles County when Madison grew up in St. Charles County. I grew up where I learned how to drive, in Kirkwood, which is considered, typically now it's not so much, but it was considered upper middle class, and a lot of the kids got super nice cars as their first car. I worked at Michael's, if you know what that is. Michael's is an arts and crafts store, and Schnucks, which was a grocery store, which is local to St. Louis. They're in Illinois too, a little bit of Illinois.
They're turning regional.
They're okay, so they are regional now. But Schnucks is the grocery store here, and I worked as a bagger there, and I worked as a stocker and a cashier at Michael's, and I paid my dad for my first car. It was his car. He got a new car when I turned 16. But
What did Dad charge you?
Huh? What did my dad charge me? Blue Book.
You've got to be kidding me.
No, I paid hard cash for that.
Blue Book?
Blue Book price for it.
Oh. Boy, I don't know if that raises my respect or lowers it. I can't decide.
My parents thought it was a good way to teach me the value of money.
No. I'm all for buying the car. I mean, no discount off Blue Book's kind of harsh.
Nope. So my parents had me on their insurance, which they regretted for a long time, because I was a good driver. I just drove really fast, like ticket fast for a long time.
I only did that one time and almost spun the Camaro, and I decided I wasn't going to do that anymore.
Oh, wow.
What is your your spatula broke? Uh-oh.
No, apparently you can take it apart. I had no idea.
I don't think they're supposed to come apart.
Well, it did.
So anyway, so yeah, my first car, yeah, my dad taught me how to drive. I'm trying to think what my dad had, the Taurus, and maybe I don't think we had the minivan still. We had a minivan. My parents.
Mom was a soccer mom.
No, they bought the minivan so we could go on these silly trips. My parents. Okay,
Did your mom drive it on a regular basis?
Yes.
So she's a soccer
So she's
mom.
a soccer mom. Okay. she'll be very mad that you said that, but she's already gonna be mad about this live anyway, so it's okay.
If you don't like it, don't drive it.
That's right. We had back in the day, it was a Chrysler, I think. It was this horrible sparkle gold minivan, like so like bad, like late 80s, early 90s, horrible gold color that sparkled. I mean, it was ugly.
I had a go kart for a while. It was a Duster.
A Duster. Yeah. Well, my parents were big on the educational trips. So like we went to Gettysburg, we went to Yellowstone. Yeah, 2 kids. We were both, I think I was maybe 12 or 13, and we drove from St. Louis, Missouri to Yellowstone, and we stopped at like all these places on the way. So 3 days basically in the car there and 3 days back. My brother fell asleep in the back of the car with a McDonald's milkshake and got McDonald's milkshake
Oh,
all over the back seat.
Boy, that was harsh. A harsh trip that you had a McDonald's milkshake.
I know, right? It was such a harsh trip.
Try going across the country with your 2 grandparents, your great grandma, stopping at truck stop restaurants because he was a trucker.
Hey, truck stops have good food. We went to the one in Iowa.
Not if you're a
6-year-old it doesn't.
Okay, well, yeah. So, okay, so Madison and I took a road trip not that long ago. We went to the world's largest truck stop, which is the I-80 truck stop in Iowa. Now, they didn't have all of the buffet open. They only had part of the buffet open because it was the end of COVID restrictions. So, but that's actually really cool. Like, we didn't do everything there because they have a truck museum there, an antique truck museum there. They have where you can get custom printing done, and I have a truck, like truck and trailer, that I picked out the colors and everything, and it has my name on it, in purple glitter, and it sits on my desk at work. Um,
No. Show 'em how big that is.
yeah, it's a big truck. It's huge.
It's
a
not some little match.
no. It's this is not a Matchbox. This is a big truck. This is a big truck with my name on it in purple sparkle. Look,
If
Oh.
you're careful.
he got on it once. Simba, look.
Why
Oh,
didn't you talk to him? You know how he is. Sinbad.
Simba, Simba,
Listen.
show people how pretty you are.
Good boy.
Good boy.
That's a good boy.
Show people how pretty you
Hold
are.
on, I'll make an exception tonight.
He's gonna get a treat, guys. Hold on. If you're wondering why all the blankets are piled up on the couch, it's because our dogs bury themselves in them. So there's really no point in us putting them up. Look. Oh.
Since you're a good boy, being on camera. Showing yourself on the camera. Huxley.
Good boy. All right. So that's our corgi. Like I said, he's absolutely terrified of the camera. He's gotten a little bit better. We got to the point where we can take pictures of him now. And we don't know when this happened because when he was a baby, he let us take pictures of him and we could film him while we want. And then like one day he decided that the camera was going to eat him, and so he quit. Yes, no, Madison is closing the bag. That's not another treat. You've had your two. You're good. But yeah, so he's very 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 afraid of the camera. Though, like I said, he's getting better at it. Where did you go on trips when you were a kid?
That's my parents didn't do trips. I went on a couple of I went to Mexico with my grandparents to see my uncle,
Uh-huh.
and then the big road trip to California again with grandma, grandpa, great grandma, and the 6-year-old me in the back seat. Let me tell you,
What car was it?
They had a Grand Marquis.
Oh Lord, I'm sorry.
Me too. And like I said, ooh,
You mean like the big old Chrysler, big old Grand Marquis that like were like the boats?
no, I'm sorry, it was the Marquis. It was whatever the big Mercury. It was Mercury.
Mercury.
Yeah, Mercury Marquis, and it was huge. It was green. The lights, the cover flipped up on the.
Oh
wall.
yeah.
Yeah, that's my grandma's car.
My dad's mom, Mima, she always drove these big, huge boat Chrysler cars. Like her last car was this dark burgundy, big old thing, like the biggest car that was on the market back then. And this was the late 90s.
LIC.
Because she passed away before you and I got together. So this would have been the late 90s. And she had the
We got together in 2005.
yeah 2005. So it was the very early 2000s, late 90s. She had the biggest car out there on the market. And the last time she drove with me in it, we almost died. She was going to take me to the Rainforest Cafe at the mall, and she went in the out exit, and we almost ran into somebody. And that's when my grandma decided that she probably needed to stop driving. So she stopped driving right after that. And that's when she moved from her house into assisted living. My Mima was a very independent woman. Her husband passed away the year before I was born. And she lived in this big, huge 2-story Victorian house by herself until we moved her into the assisted living. She was just that was just how she was. So yeah, but most of our trips were centered around visiting family, and then the educational trips when we drove to Gettysburg. There's pictures somewhere. I will have to have my mom find one for you. There's pictures in Gettysburg. They have the stocks that they would put people in the square when you were in trouble, and like they would put your head would go through and your hands would go through.
I mean, that's a pillory.
Yeah, but well, then there was the ones where you sat down and then your feet were in the thing.
That's the stuff.
Yeah, there's pictures of me in those.
Oh.
Yeah, my mom has pictures of those somewhere. I'll have to have her dig them up for you. So yeah, we went to Gettysburg. We went all around and saw a lot of the
Four score.
all that, and then we never got to DC though. And then we went to, like I said, Yellowstone was a big trip. We went up to Minnesota a lot because my,
Yogi?
huh?
Oh, that's Jellystone.
Yeah, that's Jellystone. That's not Yellowstone. And Jellystone Park is here. Hey, what? What's wrong? It's okay. Shh, it's okay. Huxley, it's okay.
It's just a car.
It's just a car, guys. It's okay. But anyway, so we went to Minnesota a lot because my parents love to fish, and so we went up to this place in Minnesota. We went there a few times. I'm trying to remember the name of it. I can't think of the name of it, but it was this beautiful lodge right on the lake, and that was the year we found out about leeches. Because my brother and I wanted to go swimming in the lake. And, you know, we didn't go swimming in the lakes here. We went swimming in the pools, but there he went swimming in the lake. And we didn't know about leeches. And so my brother and I went swimming. And then we went back to the cabin that we stayed in. And my brother had a leech on him. And we both freaked out. And my mom freaked out. And then my dad's like, oh, no, 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 no. We'll fix this problem. So then he pulled the leech off my brother. And my brother and I screamed for like, I don't know, 10 minutes. And that was the year that we slept on the bunk beds and I slept up top. And then I fell out of the bunk bed. So that was fun.
You know how you fix that leech problem?
Huh, don't swim in the lake?
Don't swim at all.
Don't swim at all. Yeah, Madison doesn't swim. So, Madison doesn't swim. But no, and the water was so cold. Like my parents thought we were crazy for getting in it, but we loved it. We loved going swimming. And then, yes, we went up there to fish a few times. We went to the same place in Minnesota a few times and fished. It was really, really, really pretty. We took a lot of fishing trips, like a lot of like day trips or overnight trips. Um, just because that was what we did. My dad loved to fish. That was how he relaxed. We went to this place. From what I understand, it's closed now. The lake, I guess, flooded out, and then it went so far outside its borders that like it changed the landscape and everything. But there was this place called Tea Lake that we used to go to. That was like we would get up at like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning and drive there, and my brother and I would pass out in the car, and my dad would drive there and wake us up when we got there, and then we'd go fishing in the little John boats. And go fishing
Why
all
are
day.
they always John boats and not like Jane boats?
I don't know why they're John boats and not Jane boats. You need to ask someone. So yeah, we would do that, and we'd fish for like bluegill and bass and stuff. And my dad, that's when my dad, I think it was Tea Lake, that my dad got into fly fishing, and now that's pretty much what he does is fly fishing, and that's why they've been to Alaska is to catch salmon fly fishing up there. They took me up there twice, and that was really fun. Um, the first time we went, we stayed at a little tiny lodge where you land in like Anchorage, and then you get on those little teeny tiny planes, and they drop you off, and don't do anything stupid to kill yourself, because then you have to wait for a little puddle jumper to come rescue you and hope that you don't die before you get back to like Anchorage. And then the second time we went, we stayed at a lodge that was in a populated area. It's actually where Alaska State Troopers is filmed. That's where
Sitka!
yeah, Sitka. That's where we stayed, like right there.
Proposal.
Yeah, The Proposal. Yeah, your favorite movie. Well, it's not your favorite movie. I think your favorite movie right now is You Got Mail.
Yeah, but the proposal's in the top 5.
The Proposal is in the top 5. So yeah, so we stayed there. Trying to think where else we went as kids. Yeah, like I said, most of our trips were based around family. You know, like my parents would ship us off. We'd spend a week by ourselves with Mima, and then we'd spend a week by ourselves with Grandma and Grandpa when they were in Arizona, which was a nice break for my parents. I'm sure they loved it. I think, if I remember right, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but I think one year they coordinated it. So I was at Mima's, and my brother was at my grandparents in Arizona, and I don't know what my parents did for that week. I guess they partied. I don't know. Maybe they fought. I don't know. So, yeah. So, oh, okay. Let's see what else. Oh, what's that movie? The Amateur. that we want to watch?
Oh yeah, I can't remember. It's someone with it's coming out. It's got Randy Malek.
Yeah, if you guys
that
haven't,
might be what it's called.
I think it's
don't
called The Amateur. It's yeah, we were just watching. I don't know.
know. Trailers, yeah.
This is such a random chat, but yeah, we were watching trailers for new movies because it's almost Christmas. There's always new movies, so The Amateur looks really good. Was there anything else that we
There
wanted?
were a few.
There was a few good movies.
The Amateur was the big one. You know, there's a couple of Marvel movies coming out.
Yeah, the new Marvel movies.
Thunderbolts, Captain America.
Marvel
The
movies.
Santa Claus, the one with the Rock that just came out and flopped. That one looked funny.
Yeah.
Funny. I mean, it's not like
Oh,
it's some
excuse me.
great. It's not like a Citizen Kane or Gone with the Wind, but it looked like funny. How do you not like a talking polar bear?
Exactly, a talking polar bear. So yeah. So, well, we typically don't go to the movie theater. We typically watch movies
We
here.
went a little more this year than normal.
Yeah, we've been. Well, we went. Paige and I went and saw
Deadpool.
Deadpool at the theater, which that was worth going to.
We were supposed to go see Beetlejuice, and whatever happened.
Yeah, we didn't go see Beetlejuice, but it's hard. It's hard to go to the theater when you've got the dogs. The dogs give you guilt looks when you try to leave. They're very good about that, aren't you guys? Yeah. They don't like us.
Go to work all the time.
Yeah. Huh?
I said, yeah, you leave for work.
Yes, I leave for work all the time, but they do get mad when we leave. So, they don't like when they're left home alone. They get very sad. So, but anyway, well, I think I'm gonna shut down here, guys. It was fun hanging out with you, and I will definitely do this again sooner rather than later because I know it's been a little bit since we've.
Every 6 months is awful.
Ever 6 months, yeah. No, we'll do one again on my next set of days off. So if I don't talk to you guys before then, if you are somebody that celebrates Thanksgiving, have a very happy Thanksgiving. Those of you who celebrate Christmas, we'll do a Christmas chat next time. We can talk about Christmas. But yeah, so it was great seeing everybody who dropped in. Thank you, all of you who did drop in. And I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Take care.